You've got somebody who's in their feels right now, somebody who is in kind of like a gooey energy, somebody that may be thinking about your last conversation. And it's kind of they're buzzing with a sense of like, ooh, we align on so many levels. This is somebody who really likes the way your mind works. They really like the way that you hold space for them to express themselves. They may have kind of gone on certain tangents or talked to you about certain things like special interests or, the things that they're like working on, even like little things that they know about and kind of like spitting bits of trivia at you. And instead of just kind of like, the glazed look over the eyes and you're just sort of like smiling and nodding as may be the case with a lot of people that they're used to dealing with. This is something where it's like you were actively listening to me, or your interests aligned with one another, or you were like, you understood where they were coming from. You might have even been somebody where you were kind of like, yeah, I hear where you're coming from, but here's my opinion. Here's my kind of take on things. And so it could have even been the energy of like a challenge, something where you didn't just kind of go with the flow. You weren't just sort of like, yeah, okay, no, that's great. Oh, how wonderful. Ha ha ha. You might have really kind of asserted yourself or, stated your opinion in a way that was very contrary to theirs. And it's a sense of like, this really attracted them, your assertiveness, your intelligence, your thoughtfulness, the way you ask thought-provoking questions, or the way in which you are able to kind of communicate with this person, or there's like an aspect of them that doesn't feel like they need to hold back in your presence. So this is somebody who's very excited to talk to you again. This is somebody that may even have kind of like a list of topics, things that they want to talk to you about. Like, what would you think of this? What would you think of that? This is almost somebody that's like running over in their mind, kind of like, I wonder what their favorite movie is. I wonder what their favorite color is. I wonder where they want to travel to. I wonder what their 5-year plan is. I wonder what their childhood was like. So this is the energy of somebody that you may just be starting to get to know. Could definitely be a talking phase, definitely be somebody you're communicating with online, but there's a sense of they want more. They are almost trying to like keep sort of a like an obligatory kind of separation period, almost like, okay, we talked for 3 hours yesterday, now it's the next day, and I want to talk, I want to kind of get the ball rolling again, but let's kind of just let's give some space. Maybe I'll give this like a 24-hour window before I reach out, or this time I'll sort of limit myself. I'll cut the conversation short so that we don't kind of become fully enmeshed, so that I'm not coming on too strong. This may be somebody that has a habit of kind of like they come on too strong, or people get annoyed by them, people get tired of them. They're very kind of like chatty when they're with the right people, when they're around the right people. They may be kind of quiet ordinarily, but when they're comfortable and they open up, this is somebody that's kind of like almost like a motor mouth. Somebody that just may have a lot of like really good ideas, or when they're talking about something or telling a story, it's kind of like then there's a side narrative, and then there's this other side quest, and then it comes back around to the original point. And there's a sense that if you had like a taste of that with this individual, it didn't push you away. It was something maybe that you were able to keep up the pace with them, or you might have even been somebody that kind of like pulled back the reins a little bit and sort of forced them, like, okay, just get to the point. What were you saying? Kind of like, come on, let's speed this up. Some of you might have been very direct with this person, and there's almost an energy of like you kind of taking on more of a dominant role in this situation. It surprised them, but now they're sitting in there and they're thinking about this, like, wow, that's really attractive. That's really interesting. Like, nobody's ever talked to me like that before. I didn't know that I would feel this kind of way about somebody kind of like pushing back. Or, if there was no kind of pushback on your end, then there's a sense of this person almost kind of like, wow, I didn't think that I could relate so naturally, so effortlessly, the conversation could flow like this. There's almost a sense that this person might be feeling that it's almost like you're just getting acquainted with one another, but it's almost sort of like we're old friends picking up where we left off. So there could definitely be a past life connection between the two of you, or something where they just feel very comfortable in your presence. Yeah, we also have I'm going to take action. I'm just planning the approach. So this is definitely somebody that, they want to increase the frequency of your communication with one another. This is somebody that, wants to take the time. They want to invest in getting to know you. They are not wanting to kind of like let things sort of cool off between the two of you, even though it may still be early in your getting to know one another. Or for some of you, this could be like an energy where you're reconnecting with someone from the past and it's been a while and it's kind of like, okay, let's just take things slow. Let's kind of pace ourselves so we don't get ahead of ourselves. But there's definitely like anything where they're sort of holding themselves back. This isn't for like a lack of interest in any way. Yeah, we also have, I'm not used to a connection like this, so I run. So there's a part of this person that almost kind of like fears rejection. There's a part of them that may start to kind of ask probing questions, or may start to, kind of like let certain masks not so much slip off, but they deliberately take them off and kind of like, okay, this is sort of a breaking point for other people that I've dealt with before, friends, family, other romances. When I start to kind of let this aspect of my personality out, when I'm really feisty, when I'm really exuberant, when I'm really excited about something, when I just keep kind of ruminating or going on and on and on about the same thing, this is kind of the point inevitably that people are like, come on, man, like it's a little much. It's, you lost me there. I got better things to do, or, people start to create some kind of distance. So it feels like they're almost going to kind of go down that rabbit hole, start to push those buttons as far as like, okay, how much of me can you stomach? What is the threshold? What is the limit where, we've got this really good kind of rapport with one another at this particular point in time, but certainly there'll be a breaking point. Certainly there'll be a point where you're like, okay, you're weird, you're too much, you're annoying, the communication kind of drops off. And so this is somebody that wants to kind of almost, they don't want to annoy you, but they want to see like, is this too good to be true? Could you really be somebody that I'm connecting with on these kind of like other levels, these very sort of personal levels, or these aspects of them that are almost like quirks, or what other people might have even sort of chalked up as being kind of weaknesses or negative aspects about this person. That's just like part of who they are. And so there's a sense of like, if we are to continue forth with one another, if things develop, if it's to be anything long term, you're going to have to like see this side of me. And I don't want to wait for that to happen later. Like I'm already in my feels. I'm already kind of like buzzing with this energy of like, yes, this feels so right. This feels, already like kind of the foundation I wanted to build with another person. This is the type of experiences I wanted to have with another person. Is this for real? Are you for real? Is this something that, yeah, we can go like this, and you're not going to get sick of me. You're not going to, all of a sudden get my hopes up, and then you kind of dip out of the conversation. So maybe you may start to see or to experience that they start talking about like deeper conversations, thought-provoking conversations. They may start to open up about very particular interests or opinions that they have, not just because they want to get to know you or they want to share things about themselves, but it may be something where it's almost kind of like, okay, so far there's a connection. So far you like me and I like you. But what about these other parts of myself? Is there room in this equation for like all of me? Yeah, and they also say, I don't want to hide this connection anymore. So there are like a certain series of almost like gatekeepers that they need to go through intellectually or emotionally, because it feels like this is somebody that when they love hard. And when they're heartbroken, it's like devastating. It's maybe something where, they want to make sure, because these feelings are starting to blossom for you. They're starting to emerge, that before they allow themselves to surrender to that fully, that there's kind of like, you can hold space for more of like the real them. And so again, this is somebody that's like taking control of the situation to deliberately kind of go down certain roads as far as the interactions are concerned, sharing certain things with you that don't feel to be like negative things, but it may just be somebody that, like, for example, has like a Star Wars obsession. That's for somebody, and it's kind of like they got all the action figures, they got the lines from the movies memorized, they're like really into that whole franchise. It's a big part of like their world, or a big part of their reality, a big, part of even their personality in some way might have been like modeled after certain characters, or the idea of that kind of like ongoing saga. And so there's a thing of like, okay, are you going to be into this too? And even if you're not, like, what are you going to think about this grown man with his Star Wars action figures, collectibles kind of like out on display? What are you going to think of that? So there's things where they're kind of they're gonna throw curveballs into this situation. It feels like where, it's not to kind of like stress you out or to overwhelm you, but it's just kind of like, this is also a part of who I am. As much as like I'm a down to earth individual, as much as, I'm somebody that's kind of shown up for you in a very particular way, or, this one aspect or this side of me, here are these other facets of who I am. And is there space for that in this situation? Yeah, and we also have, I've looked into tarot readings. So for some people, yeah, this person has gotten a reading about you, or they will get readings. This is somebody that may even kind of do divination on their own. They may use a pendulum. They may use tarot cards. Rune stones are coming through. So for some people, that may be kind of like how they get their information, how they kind of vet out their own intuition. But there's a sense of kind of like, I want to look deeper into this. I want to dive deeper into this connection. Between the two of us. I got this intuitive feeling that, there may be something here, there may be something to work with, there may be this kind of potential between the two of us to become something more or to build something more. But I got to make sure that I'm not just going to fall head over heels in love. And then you discover like this aspect about me, maybe even the fact that like they could have a tarot deck, they could pull tarot cards, they could get tarot readings. I may not tell you like all of that, but something where they could just drop little hints or kind of tease at that and like, oh, what would you think about that? So what do you think of psychic powers? What do you think of tarot readers? And that may be something that kind of like opens up another door for the two of you to kind of connect with one another. Like, wow, okay, so you're kind of open-minded in that same way that I'm open-minded. You're definitely my dream person. You're definitely my dream girl. Like, where have you been my whole life? It feels like that's what this person keeps repeating to themselves. Like, where have you been my whole life? They feel very lucky to have encountered you. And so there's a sense of kind of like, okay, before I get head over heels, before I kind of continue to tumble into this situation, not even head first, but like heart first, before I just kind of give myself over to this, I want to make sure that I'm not misreading the signs, or that it's something that we're good beyond just kind of the surface level potential in the circumstance. Yeah, and they also say, I've been manifesting our connection. So already this person is, and it's almost like it's feeling that it's too soon to say that you're the reason that they had to go through all of that rejection, all of those like, heartbreaks, those kind of like life-changing experiences in terms of like rejection and disappointment. But there is a sense of the way in which you've accepted this person at face value without even knowing you're doing that. Like, you're just connecting with this person, but they're like, I feel so accepted by you. I feel so seen by you. I feel like I can just be myself around you. And it feels like there's a part of them that is kind of like, this might be the person that I've been waiting for. This is a kind of experience that I have been wanting to have with another person that has been so elusive up to this point in time. So they're very enthusiastic and very excited to kind of see what are some ways that we can continue to build upon this connection with one another. Yeah, and they also say you will hear from me soon. So again, it's kind of like if you just had a very long interaction with one another, a very in-depth interaction, and then it's kind of like, it may be quiet for a couple of hours, you don't hear from them for a day or like a couple of days. They're not like trying to be tricky, but there is an energy of sort of like, okay, I could talk to you forever. But before I kind of just like get all into that gooey energy and like, I'm yours, do with me what you will, I'm giving you my heart, and please be gentle, before they go down that road, there is a sense of kind of like, okay, there's so much chemistry, there's so much compatibility, there's so much promise between the two of us, but let me kind of hold back, almost sort of like, to kind of do things the right way, to sort of give the energies time to settle, give themselves time to sort of sit even in this like buzz within of sort of like, okay, that was a really good conversation. This is a really great person. I can't believe they're giving me the time of day. I can't believe that this is going so well between the two of us. And so they're very enthusiastic about your next conversation. It feels like for a lot of you, this is somebody that is gonna, kind of right through the gate, they're gonna be all chatty once again. They're very enthusiastic about certain things that they want to talk to you about, certain things that they want to express, certain things like areas of conversation that they want to enter into. And this isn't just, because it's somebody that like wants to talk about the weather or wants to find out, or all these little things about you, or share these little things about themselves. This is a process of like world building. This is somebody that's trying to like look at this from all different sides, from all different aspects, from all different angles, and kind of like, let's make sure that, you know, both kind of the positive attributes and the things that are maybe not so easy to deal with within me, that there's space with that, that you can connect with that you can vibe with that, or at least, you know, be open-minded about those parts of myself before I continue to kind of feed in on the good qualities, on the things that I'm proud of or that I consider strengths, so that other like previous romantic partners have really enjoyed, have really liked about them. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Please give the video a like or comment to show your support, and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more content, and hit the little bell button so you get notifications every time that I put up a new video. If you'd like to book a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another video. Please take care and be well.